when you say show up for yourself, what would you say your values are as it pertains to race?
So I always talk about how I take on anti-racism as a value, anti-racism. And what I mean is I actively fight against racism. It really started from that moment when I was 6 years old. Because what I realized is that if this kid thinks of himself as inferiority or needing to be some kind of bad person, right, in order to be black, and all of the adults around me are telling me that race is like a thing of the past, I mean, I just put the pieces together. I was like, okay, well, this kid has no chance. This kid has no chance of getting out of that, And ultimately, I realized that that's probably by design, to make sure that kid always believes he's inferior. And then thinking about the history of race, that makes sense, right? As that is something that slaves were meant to believe about themselves. That's why they weren't allowed to learn to read. That's why they weren't allowed to, have any time to actually reflect and realize the oneness of humanity that you learn from growing up as part of the church and whatnot, and as Jehovah's Witness, so like it's to make sure that people believe in a false reality of themselves and others. So anti-racism to me is to make sure that I break those illusions, okay? And whenever I encounter them, to make sure that people know that I don't believe in that stuff and that I don't believe that that is reality. So I interrupt it everywhere that I encounter it. And I also actively try to have conversations about race. Not only do I create them here, but I create them in real life. I went to Waffle House, bro, and I talked to my server at Waffle House about this stuff, and she came to one of my live events. She's come to watching. She might be watching right now. So like, I mean, I live this, because I feel like it's important. It breaks people from the bonds of victimization. It breaks people from the bonds of believing themselves superior to others, which is false. Okay? And by breaking those things, it makes all of us stronger. It makes all of us live more realistically. It makes people make better decisions for themselves and others. And so it improves this world. So that's why I do what I do, and I believe that's what it means to live out a value of anti-racism. Thanks for watching. For access to the full-length conversation and all of the 2-hour-long, unedited conversations that I've had on race, click the support link in the description below. Thanks for your support, and see you next time.